Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Adha Paragamam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishikam Vitam Sya Om Adhyanatim Yanachana Shlakaya Chakshurum Militamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Bhishtam Supurakam Gurganara Sisha Sambhushitam Shintya Samasta Veda Nipalam Shri Rupa Patanagam Govindabhidam Ujwalam Bharatanam Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Mande Vishwagurum Shah Divyat Bhagavad Prem Navi Bija Pranam Devam Divyatanam Suchanavaranam Balarkashilanshitam Sandrananda Puram Sadekavaranam Vairagya Vidyamulim Shri Siddhanta Nidim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Varam Mandetam Shivaram Madeka Sharanam Yashishwara Sridharam Vanshakopatarubyasya Kripasindubhyevasya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahavananyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratabhishe Namah. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the hidden treasure of this sweet absolute. And this is chapter 8, Taraka-brahma Yoga, the Merciful Absolute. Verse number 18. Avyakta Vyaktaya Sarva Prabhavanti Ahar Agame Ratri Agame Praliyante Tatraiva Vyakta Samgyake. With the coming of day, the universal progeny, with their bodies, senses, enjoyable objects and abodes, are born of Lord Brahma in his waking state, and at nightfall they are again absorbed into Lord Brahma, who is known as the unmanifest. With the coming of day, the universal progeny, with their bodies, senses, enjoyable objects, and abodes, are born of Lord Brahma in his waking state, and at night they are again absorbed into Lord Brahma, who is known as the unmanifest. Bhutagrama sa evayam bhutva praliyate ratri agame vashapartha prabhavati ahoragame. O Partha, the multitude of beings are helplessly subject to the law of karma, born again and again. With the coming of Lord Brahma's night, they were absorbed, and with the coming of his day, they are again born. So the living beings are, here says, they are helplessly subject to the law of karma, and they are born again and again. With the coming of Lord Brahma's night, they were absorbed, and with the coming of his day, they are again born. So again, beginning of the day, they become manifest. Parastasmatu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatana yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. But superior to this unmanifest Lord Brahma, there is another unmanifest, and that existence is beginningless and transcendental to the perception of the living beings. He is not destroyed when all beings are destroyed. But superior to this unmanifest, the Lord Brahma, there is another unmanifest, and that existence is beginningless and transcendental to the perception of the living beings. He is not destroyed when all beings are destroyed. Avyaktokshyara iti uktas tamahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadama paramam mama. He is said to be the unmanifest and the invincible, proclaimed by the Upanishads to be the supreme goal, reaching whom one does not return to this world. Know that destination to be my supreme abode. He is said to be the unmanifest and the invincible, proclaimed by the Upanishads to be the supreme goal, reaching whom one does not return to this world. Know that destination, to me, to be my supreme abode. Purusha sapara partha bhaktya labhyas tvananyaya yashantan stani bhutani yena sarvam idam tatam. O Partha, I, the Supreme Person, with whom all beings are situated. O Partha, I, the Supreme Person, within whom all beings are situated, and by whom this whole universe is pervaded, am attainable only by exclusive devotion. O Partha, I, the Supreme Person, within whom all beings are situated, and by whom this whole universe is pervaded, am attainable only by exclusive devotion. Yatra kale tvanan avritim shaiva yogina pratyata yanti tam kalam lakshami bharatarshava yatra kale tvanavritim shaiva yogina prayata yanti tam kalam lakshami bharatarshava. O Bharatarshava, now I shall describe to you the circumstances in which the yogis attain either liberation or rebirth at the moment of death. O Bharatarshava, now I shall describe to you the circumstances in which the yogis attain either liberation or rebirth at the moment of death. Amir Jyotir Ha Shukla Shanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra Prayata Gachanti Brahma Vidojana Amir Jyotir Ha Shukla Shanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra Prayata Gachanti Brahma Vidojana. Upon leaving the body, the knowers of Brahman attain Brahman via the path of fire, light, day, the waxing moon, and the sun's northern ascent. So this is the path of those yogis who are trying to attain realization on the basis of their own individual endeavors. So they will try to leave the body during the daytime, during the light, during the waxing moon, that is when it's going from Amavasya to full moon, and the sun's northern ascent. So when it's going from the time of the winter solstice, going towards the sun is then on its northern ascent. But this is the mechanical way of attaining some elevation by the yogic process. But this is not the path of the devotees. They're not concerned on the basis of their own individual endeavors. We have seen personalities, divine personalities, like Gadadhar Pandit, Bhakti Vinod Thakur. We've seen Srila Bhakti Rakshak, Sridhar Dev-Goswami Maharaj, that they left this world on the Amavasya day. And Srila Govinda Maharaj commented, that shows the humility of the Vaishnava. And they're not concerned about how to go leave this world under the most favorable material conditions to attain some elevation or some transcendence. Rather, they're so situated on the path of divinity. They are always consecrated with the service of the Lord. And they're not concerned under how they must leave this world under what auspicious conditions. In Guru Maharaj, as we said, he left on the Amavasya day, the dark moon night, dark moon day of when there is no moon visible, not during the waxing moon. But so, what is What is the consideration there? And yet, Srila Govinda Maharaj said, when he saw the deities, shortly after Guru Maharaj's disappearance, he said he had never seen the deity so smiling, effulgent, and beautiful. And because Guru Maharaj had gone back to the divine plane, and of course we could say he never left it, but the deities were effulgent, they were so happy. The devotees are not concerned. And as Srila Guru Maharaj said, even if a devotee under the most trying conditions were to forget the Lord at the time of leaving this body, then he said that the Lord will never forget his devotee. So the great souls, they're not under these rigid conditions which one should follow for leaving this world. No, they can leave and we see throughout the Vaishnava year, there are persons' disappearance days on all days of the month. And so the devotees are not bound up by these kind of considerations. Upon leaving the body, the knowers of Brahman attain Brahman via the path of fire, light, day, the waxing moon, and the sun's northern ascent. Dumo ratris tata Krishna sanmasha dakshinayanam tatra chandrama samjyotir yogi prapya nivartate. Dumo ratris tata Krishna shanmasa dakshinayanam tatra chandrama samjyotir yogi prapya nivartate. Upon leaving the body, the karma yogi reaches the heavenly plane via the path of smoke, night, the waning moon, and the sun's southern ascent, but returns to undergo rebirth. Upon leaving the body, the karma yogi reaches the heavenly plane via the path of smoke, night, the waning moon, and the sun's southern ascent, but returns to undergo rebirth. So the karma yogi, he'll attain some heavenly plane for an elevated sense of enjoyment, and will come back to this material world having exhausted his karma and his enjoyment. But the devotees are the devotees are following the plane of bhakti, which is always beyond the plane of karma and jnana yoga. Those are rather considered of unimportance to the devotees. That the devotees are not interested actually in karma and jnana. So, Shukla Krishna gati yete jagata shashvate mate ekaya yati anyavritim anya ya vartate guna shukla Krishna gati yete jagata shashvate mate ekaya yati anavritim anya ya vartate guna. The Buddha is not interested in karma or jnana, anyavritam, Shukla Krishna gati ete jagata shashvate mate ekaya yati anavritim anyam ya vartate puna anyavilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukuyena Krishna nushilanam bhakti rutama. Devotees don't give importance to karma and jnana. Their only interest is satisfying Krishna, and that is attained through bhakti. Shukla Krishna gati yete jagata shashvate mate ekaya yati anavritim anyaya vartate guna. These two paths of the world, the bright and the dark, are accepted as being perpetual. But the bright path, by the bright path, liberation is attained, and by the dark path, one is reborn. These two paths of the world, the bright and the dark, are accepted as being perpetual. By the bright path, liberation is attained, and by the dark path, one is reborn. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says, I am not interested in, I'm not concerned with birth or rebirth or liberation. He says, my only request is to have the association of the devotee. And even if I must be reborn, then let me be born in the house of a devotee. In any condition of life, I only want the association of the devotees. So these two paths of the world, the bright and the dark, are accepted as being perpetual. By the bright path, liberation is attained, and by the dark path, one is reborn. Naite Shriti Parthajanan Yogi Muyati Kaschana Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Yoga Yukto Bhavarjuna. Naite Shriti Parthajanan Yogi Muyati Kaschana Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Yoga Yukto Bhavarjuna. O part of the devotee, Bhakti Yogi, who knows these bright and dark paths is not deluded. Therefore, O Arjuna, be ever fixed in transcendental, exclusive devotion. O part of the devotee, Bhakti Yogi, who knows these bright and dark paths is not deluded. Therefore, O Arjuna, be ever fixed in transcendental, exclusive devotion. The devotee is not concerned with either the bright path or the dark path. His only concern is the satisfaction of the Lord, not his own personal elevation or his own personal liberation. Rather, liberation sits by a devotee's doorway, eager to serve that devotee. The devotee is not concerned of looking for liberation, endeavoring so hard. That's not the concern at all. Rather, the devotee's only concern is the satisfaction of the Lord and his devotees. And in serving the Lord and his devotees, the devotee doesn't care what risk is there. Therefore, we're not concerned with auspiciousness or inauspiciousness or these kinds of concerns. They're rather concerns of those who are materially illusioned or situated. You could say, well, how can you say that a yogi is illusioned? Well, all I can say is that Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Deva Shanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakaliya Shanta. The devotee is desireless, therefore he's peaceful. But those Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami, the materialist is looking for bhukti, he's looking for enjoyment. And the liberationist, he's looking for bhukti mukti, he's looking for moksha. Whether he's a yogi or an impersonalist, he's looking for moksha, or perhaps if one is following the path of yoga to attain some kind of material perfections, the yoga siddhis, then Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami. All of these different personalities, they have some desire other than the service of the Lord. Their desire is not the satisfaction of the Lord, but rather Bhukti. It is for enjoyment, it is for mukti, it is for liberation, or it is for siddhi, yogic perfections, but sakaliya shanta is a result of having those desires. These persons are always not peaceful. Then Vedeshu, Yageshu, Tapasu, Chaiva, Daneshu, Yat Punya Phalam, Pradishtam, Adyeti, Tat Sarvam Midam Viditva, Yogi Param Stanam, Upaiti Chadyam, Vedeshu, Yageshu, Tapasu, Chaiva, Daneshu Yat Punya Palam Pradishtam Adyeti Tat Sarvamidam Viditva Yogi Param Stanam Upaiti Chadyam. Thus knowing of my glories and the glories of devotion for me, the devoted soul, surpassing the scripturally cited fruits of piety achieved by chanting the Vedas and performing sacrifice, austerity, and charity, attains my supreme holy abode. Thus knowing of my glories and the glories of devotion for me, the devoted soul, surpassing the scripturally cited fruits of piety achieved by chanting the Vedas and performing sacrifice, austerity, and charity, attains my supreme holy abode. So this is, we're always referring to the path of Bhakti Yoga, of devotional service, because that is the real path of actual spiritual success. One who is able to satisfy the Lord and satisfy the Lord's devotees, they are actually truly successful as far as spiritual attainment. Well, what is that attainment? The satisfaction in the Lord and the devotees. That will be rather our source of satisfaction. Iti Shri Mahabharate Shata Sahasriyam Samhitayam Vayasikyam Bhishma Parvani Srimad Bhagavad Gita Subhani Shatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Taraka-brahma Yogo Nam Ashtamo Jaya. End of chapter 8, the Merciful Absolute, from the conversation of Shri Krishna and Arjuna in Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishad, the yoga scripture of transcendental knowledge in Bhishma Parva, Shri Mahabharata, the holy scripture revealed by Srila Vyasadeva in 100,000 verses. Hariharaya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mohan Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhakta Dasa Raghunath H.I. Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan Jahoite Vignana Shavista Puran H.I. Gosai Jarmui Taradas Tasavar Padarenu Mora Panchagras Tadir Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanivas Janame Janame More Ambilas H.I. Gosai Jabe Raje Koilabas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pademanja Yaman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koryash Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narata Malas Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koryash Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narata Malas Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Marmansa Parabhajaka Charyashta Tarasada Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev-Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajaka Charya Ashtatara Sadasi Srimad Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev-Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur ki jai, Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai, Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai, Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai, Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhakta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhadada Shri Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu ki jai, Prem Si Go Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Bhagavat ki jai, Naradam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu ki jai, Vishwavaranya Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmal Acharya Maharaj ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Vrinda ki jai, Shri Navadip Dham ki jai, Shri Mayapur ki jai, Saparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Saparshada Shriman Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Kuladvip ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki jai, Soquel Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram ki jai, Ganga Devi ki jai, Tulasi Maharani ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Govardhan Shyam Kanu Radha Kunja Kalindi Yamuna Jo ki jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, all the assembled devotees ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.